Russian commanders are throwing away their troops in performative assaults to impress their superiors, according to an angry Russian Milblogger. His commentary highlights a persistent contributing factor to Russia's very high casualty figures. Russian commentators have repeatedly described the Russian army's pattern of institutionalized lying, including staged training, fake manpower figures, and false claims of having captured targets, which result in bloody attempts to make the claims real. The ultranationalist journalist Vladislav Shurigin complained earlier this year that hundreds of Russian men are driven forward to their own slaughter, so that the boss who reports the capture, who has already drilled a hole for the medal on his uniform, can cover his ass. Danil Zenchugov, who appears to be blogging from the battlefield, complains on his Telegram channel of his personal experiences under fat-faced degenerates who stupidly called themselves commanders and blame their men for their own deaths. When the director and Zhenya died, our command first of all began to invent reasons why the deceased were to blame for their own deaths. Why weren't they wearing bulletproof vests? Asked the people who didn't give them bulletproof vests. Oh, they were playing on their phones and that's why they died. This is very similar to texting someone on Telegram Messenger. In the end, it all came down to a short line in an official document. Died while at a roadblock. And it didn't bother people that there can't be any roadblock where the enemy is so close that you can start shouting at him if you want to. It's just that the commanders who sent people to hell with nothing really didn't want to be held responsible for their deaths. And at that time, the expensive whores liked to advertise the fact that the reservists were no further forward than the third line. I wish they were on the third line, or at least the second line. Of course, my friends were killed by the enemy. But to no lesser extent, they were killed by two fat-faced degenerates who foolishly called themselves commanders. And when people refused to go into the assault without any support, refused to be dumb meat, it was, we'll lock you up, you'll be reset to zero, executed, etc. Because the fat-faced degenerates didn't care about people. They only cared about their fat arses and their bravura reports. When Sergeant and I were being picked up by transport from that hellhole that the battalion commander had driven us into, who had promised to go with us until the very end, but at the last moment, out of habit, he backed out, the irritated battalion commander asked us only one question. What happened to you that you need to go to the hospital? Those who did not go to the hospital would later be arrested. Not for refusing to fight. They didn't refuse. They refused to go to certain death, to fortified enemy positions without the slightest support. They would be promised that they would not be sent one way again. In a little over 24 hours, they would be sent to attack a well-fortified enemy position without the slightest chance of success. For more than 20 men, it would be the final assault. When the relatives of the dead would call the commander, hoping to find out something about their missing relatives, he would tell them only, "Why are you calling me? Who gave you my number? Never call here again." And that's if you omit the swearing. And the battalion commander continued to serve, because he was a good man. If people died, it means he was trying. Therefore, no matter what the dear whores are saying now, about how it's their own fault, and I was told here, and this can't be, and all the commanders are heroes, and there's a commander who's been decorated, and so on, we know that it can be something else. That even the presence of awards does not mean that a person is an honest and fair commander. Vuhledar. Under massive Russian MLRS and artillery attacks, footage from Vuhledar in Donetsk shows a scene of devastation, with smoke and explosions everywhere. Russians have intensified their offensive actions towards the city, which is deemed to fall under Russian occupation, as Russian forces are closing in from several angles. Attention, United States. Russian propagandists think Russia has to attack Alaska. Americans are now very concerned that the Russians are going to attack Alaska. How so? But we have to. This, by the way, is one of the most serious threats to the United States of America. They're deploying their HIMARS on the Aleutian Islands today. But we also have islands.
Теперь по поводу охраны границ, особенно с дружественными странами. Американцы сейчас сильно озаботились о том, что русские собираются напасть на Аляску. А вопли стоят. Как так? Ну, надо. Надо. Вот это, кстати, одна из серьезнейших угроз Соединенных Штатов Америки. Они сегодня на Алиутских островах размещают свои «Хаммерсы». Но наши острова тоже свои наличия имеются.
Lukashenko tells his generals that Belarus might get attacked, and they should prepare for war.
Старая формула. Хочешь мира, готовься к войне. Еще раз хочу подчеркнуть, хотя, в принципе, что нам тут перед кем-то оправдываться, что мы не собираемся воевать, мы не хотим воевать, все это уже сказано. Но это слушают, но делают свое дело. Наши противники, наши соперники, те, кто готовится против нас, будем прямо говорить, воевать. Поэтому нам надо готовиться к войне. И дай Бог, чтобы этой войны не было.
One of the Russian Shahed drones was destroyed today by border guards in the Sumy region.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.